Morning, everyone. We will get started in just a couple minutes here. We're just 2 minutes shy of 9 o'clock, so we'll let everyone get their coffees and their teas and open up this webinar, and we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Thanks for being early. Quick test, guys. If you can hear me, just write yes in the chat room. That would really help me out. Right on. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. Greg, Dave, awesome. I do believe we're expecting a pretty packed house here, guys. So like I mentioned, I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes for a few more people to log on, but we should get started roughly about 9 o'clock, maybe 1 minute after, if that's okay with everybody. That's no problem, Caitlin. You can take as many notes as you need. No problem, on behalf of Matt. I think that's great. Looks like everyone can hear me. All right, we're going to give it 1 more minute, guys. 1 more minute, and then we'll get started here. Hope everyone's got a nice big cup of coffee or a tea with them. And I'm looking forward to diving into this with all of you that have joined us here today. Just a couple housekeeping items. If you could, please mute yourself. That would be great. I really would like to utilize the chat, I guess, aspect of the Zoom media platform if we can. So questions and anything like that can be popped into the chat room. I'll try to get to them as fast as we can. As mentioned, there are quite a few people on the webinar here today. So if there's any questions that don't get answered, I will take them away and follow up as best I can. I will leave about 10 to 15 minutes at the end of this presentation to answer any questions that people might have as well. But for the most part, we're going to keep everybody on mute. It'll help with the flow a little better. And again, yeah, if you have any questions, just pop them into the chat there. So I think we're going to get started here, guys. So again, welcome to today's session. Sandler Training here in the Maritimes will be offering these free sessions all week. Well, Monday, Wednesday, Friday to be specific. We've got 2 more sessions coming up on Wednesday and Friday with our president, Eric Fry, and our sales associate, Mark, who will be conducting the session on Friday. Lots of great information here, guys. I'm so glad that so many of you made it here today. So today we're going to talk about digital prospecting and leveraging LinkedIn specifically. So this seems to be a very hot topic for obvious reasons. But today what I'd like to do is give you guys a little bit of a foundation that you can work on if you're not using this in your day-to-day business already. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. So, I would just like to address the elephant in the room right away. So that's COVID-19. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this as we're all being bombarded with a lot of information. Obviously, these are unprecedented times for businesses here in the Maritimes. We know that a lot of close businesses to us here at Sandler are being impacted. And we're really trying to do our best to support the community here in the Maritimes, New Brunswick, PEI, Nova Scotia, as best as we know how, right? Obviously, every single business around the world is being impacted. What we really like to do is there's a couple words here on the screen, and when we're talking about digital prospecting and leveraging LinkedIn and social selling and all these sort of things, we really need to take into consideration how people are really feeling at the moment. Obviously, things like empathy and nurture are going to be very, very important when we're looking at things like building a network or building a prospect list. This has changed dramatically since, even 2 weeks ago. So these words that are on the screen, I would really highly recommend that when we're looking at filling up our pipeline or working with our sales associates, if you are a sales associate, and you're looking to network and build a social network, as far as professionals go, it's a little different from building a social network of friends and family. If you're looking to build a professional network, we really need to take into consideration things like empathy and nurture and caring, sympathy, integrity and trust. I highlighted trust there because, especially with the times that we have today, trust is going to be such a massive thing when we move through the sales cycle and when we're even evaluating our own sales cycles to see how they have changed in the last couple weeks. Okay, so just something to keep in mind when we're working through some of these activities. I will demo a couple things live for you guys. I'll take you right into my LinkedIn account. I'm going to show you the difference between the mobile app on LinkedIn versus the desktop version of LinkedIn. There's some differences that you might want to become familiar with. But for the most part, guys, this is really going to be our bread and butter, really taking that empathetic and nurturing approach to building our networks. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into it. So first thing I want you to do is, if you got a pen and a piece of paper in front of you, which I hope you do have for learning reasons and best practices reasons, but I'd love for you to write down a few questions that you would like to get answered today during today's webinar. And you can also share those in the chat if you would like as well. So let's take a couple minutes and just personally write down a few questions that you would like to get answered on today's webinar. And I'd love for you to share them in the chat bar if you can. So let's take 2 minutes as a group and let's see how many questions that we can come up with. Just going to leave that out there. 2 minutes starting now. For people that are just joining us, we're taking a couple minutes to write down some questions that we would like to see answered on today's webinar. Just some takeaways. You can share them in the chat room. You can write them down on your piece of paper in front of you if you'd like, however you'd like to share. Build a better profile. Awesome. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for sharing. Maybe I can get, maybe some yeses in the comment bar. Who's really looking to, I guess, blow up their profile a little bit, increase their views on their profile, maybe make their profile look a little more professional? If that's something you're looking to do, maybe a yes in the chat bar would be great. Thanks, Tamara. I appreciate that. That's a great question, Chris. How this process will differ from other forms of prospecting? It's a great question. We'll answer that a little later on in the webinar. Great question. Perfect. So it seems like a lot of people are really looking to build out their profiles, make their profiles look a little more professional, and we're going to definitely dive right into that. Better profile. How to post effectively. That's great, Victor. We're going to touch on that as well. What content to post, Ben? That's a great question. We're going to actually dive into that as well. So it sounds like we're all on the same page here. So we're going to move forward, and we're going to do our first poll here. So let's do a quick poll, everybody here. So here is the first poll for the group, and we'll get some percentages as we work through it. Give everyone a couple minutes to answer the poll. Some very interesting numbers coming through here. So we have 32% currently of the group right now that don't use social media at all to prospect, 38% less than an hour. I'm pretty sure after today that'll probably change, well, hopefully. All right, so we'll go ahead and end that poll right there. So we're looking at about 35% of our group right now on the webinar using less than an hour a day to prospect, 28% about an hour a day, and 34% are not using it all. So we've got a wide range of people on the webinar today, but hopefully we can impact as many people as we can with the content that we'll be covering. Okay. So we're going to first talk about active versus passive prospecting. So a lot of the information that we're going to reference today, guys, comes from the digital prospecting book by Mike Jones and Ken Guest. What I can do is I can pop that up for you guys. It's written by a couple Sandler legends, and they really do a deep dive into this active versus passive prospecting sort of trend. So when we're talking about active prospecting, this is a really important point here, is active prospecting is learning absolutely everything you can about your potential prospect. So I don't know how many people on the webinar right now have sat down with their teams or sat down personally and went through an ideal customer avatar, meaning you've sat down and went through every single thing from the type of schooling that your potential prospect would have, where they hang out online, what sort of companies they work for, their age, do they have kids, all these sort of questions. There's all kinds of forums out there on Google, trying to dial in your ideal avatar. I just type in ideal avatar worksheet on Google, and 100 will pop up. We also have one here at Sandler that I can share with the group at the end. It's called our LinkedIn Levers, and basically it goes through these active questions that we need to be asking ourselves every time we go on to this platform. So I did a session for a group last week, and what I mentioned was 60% of our activities should be spent on needle moving activities, right? So I'm going to say that again. So 60% of our day and where we spend our day should be spent on needle moving activities. 60% of our day should be spent on needle moving activities. Now, when we look at active and passive prospecting, active prospecting is going on to LinkedIn with a plan. So that's why I have define your activities. What are you going on there to do? Are you going on there just to cruise around and add contacts? Or are you actually going to actively prospect? Are you looking for decision makers? Are you looking for people that can answer your questions right there and right then? Are you looking for people that will grow your network? Are you looking for people that you can leverage in your network? These are all activities that should be defined before, I think, you even hop into a platform like LinkedIn that's filled with professionals that, and quite honestly, guys, are all on there to do the exact same thing a lot of you that you guys are looking to do, right? So we need to take that active prospecting to a whole other level. And what that means is really doing a deep dive, not only on your own profile, but the people that you're searching. Okay, so it's a very important point. Passive prospecting would be just hopping on the LinkedIn, and I don't know how many people are guilty of it, but just clicking connect, 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 connect. For every single person that pops into your feed, you're just connecting with people. That's not a bad thing, but I'm hoping that you can see the difference between actively prospecting, where you do a deep dive and then add that contact, versus just sort of cruising through LinkedIn and just passively adding people as you go, right? Big difference. And, it'll make up in the long run if you do it actively and you're really adding people to your network that are strong, okay? So that's something to take into consideration when you're going onto the platform. Make sure that you have your activities defined. What am I looking to do? What does a victory look like on the platform? If I can add 5 people to my network that are really niched and I've made a really good connection with them, that might be a better day than adding 20 contacts just by clicking connect. right? So I would highly suggest that on the LinkedIn platform right now that you build your followers and your network organically through active prospecting. That's what we really want to really take a deep dive on. So here are some numbers for you guys, just to, you know, to have a little look, because the LinkedIn platform is absolutely exploding right now. One number that's not up there right now is that it has 620 million active users, which is unbelievable. Just some really interesting numbers before we get into the profile stuff, but as you'll notice, you'll get 11 times more views on your profile if you've got a photo. Any photo, I mean, a professional photo would be best, but any photo. They're saying that 11 times more people will check it out. 1 out of 3 professionals on the planet are using LinkedIn. Just let that soak in right now. 1 out of 3 professionals on the planet are using this platform right now. Okay, this is a really interesting one. 200 conversations per minute occur in LinkedIn groups. So another thing we're going to talk about today is what sort of groups are you part of? Are you posting in these groups? Are you active in these groups? And when I use the word active today on the webinar, guys, that's really pertaining to, are you going on and commenting and liking things within the platform? Okay, 41% of LinkedIn visits are done via mobile, which is another reason we're going to take a look at the mobile device today and the mobile platform within LinkedIn, because there are some major differences between that and the desktop version. Okay, and then just a quick one there, 1 in 20 LinkedIn profiles belong to recruiters. Here's some more numbers for you. 51% of 51% of companies acquired B2C customers through LinkedIn. This is a big number here. 93% of business-to-business marketers consider LinkedIn to be the most effective for lead generation. That is massive, guys. Okay, 64% of all visits. LinkedIn, it's basically saying that 64% of all company visits are through LinkedIn, which is absolutely massive. 80% of LinkedIn members want to connect with companies to enhance their decision-making. I mean, the numbers go on and on, guys. Like, it's so great that you're on this webinar today, because we are going to dive into a lot to do with the profile, which is the most important thing. So as you can see, you're in the right spot if you're looking to network on LinkedIn and grow your digital strategy. So here, let's get into the nuts and bolts here. Let's take a look at the profile. So I will start by saying that there are 3 areas on your LinkedIn profile that the algorithm, so within LinkedIn, there's an algorithm that they use to determine your search relevance. So when people go into the search bar and search for sales managers or VPs or directors of operations, there's an algorithm that they use, and they pull those words all the way from your profile. So these are what they're looking for. These content-rich words that you're using on your profile will get pulled via the algorithm, right? So tastefully blast these areas with your keywords to target your audience. These 3 main areas, so your profile title, your summary, and your job title. Those are the 3 big areas that we're going to focus on today, and those are the 3 big areas I think that you should start when you're just getting started out with LinkedIn, or if you have a profile already. We're going to take a look at a few examples here of good profiles versus not so great profiles, and we're going to take a look at how to navigate through that. Okay, so minimum, if you really want to get into this algorithm that LinkedIn has, they're looking for a minimum of 500 contacts. Now, don't freak out if you've only got 50 contacts right now and you're on the webinar. Again, using that active prospecting that we just went through, and I'll show you how to do it, you'll be able to build your network fairly quickly. You need to add a profile picture, your profile title. So this should be specific to the problem you solve. And we're going to go through a quick activity right after this pertaining to your profile title. Add content to all these profile areas. Again, I'm going to show you a couple examples. And join both industry groups and groups of interest to your prospects. So industry groups that you're right now selling in, and groups of interest to your prospects. We want to know where they're going. Where are they all hanging out, right? That's a very important sort of technique and skill when looking to actively prospect within the LinkedIn platform. So we really want to make sure that we can become searchable. So here's your first activity. So on your piece of paper in front of you, I want you to write down your role that you're currently in. Perfect. And then after that, I want you to write down the statement, I help businesses with blank by using blank. So, and I'm going to give you a quick, maybe what I can do is give you a quick example of that. So your role, and then you help businesses by doing what? By using what? So for instance, my role is Director of Training at Sandler, and I help businesses with talent optimization, right? By using the Sandler way or by using the Sandler methods. That would be something that could be a tagline. And while you guys are working on that, and I'd love for you guys to share in the chat what your profile title would be for the group. That would be fantastic, your new profile title. What I'll do is I'll just share something really quick here with you guys. All right. Here we go. All right. So just give me a yes if you can see my screen right now, which should be my LinkedIn profile. Just give me a nice yes if you can. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Matt, Lindsay, everybody. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to take a look at profiles right now specifically. So if I log on here, this is my LinkedIn page. So I'll just show my profile to start. So there we go, Director of Training at Sandler, and I help companies with market optimization and talent enhancement. That's what I do. So right away when people come to my page, as you'll notice, I've got a banner right at the top, very professional looking, a photo. Right away, people know what I do. And one other thing I'll point out, guys, is this little gold LinkedIn square. That basically shows that I'm a premium member within LinkedIn. It's $35 a month. But what it does give you is access to a lot of metrics. And metrics like who's been viewing your profile, for what company do they work, when did they view it, how long ago, all these sort of metrics that might help you if you're really looking to really snowball your profile, okay? So something to keep in mind, it also shows you who's active on LinkedIn. Usually people that are paying $35 a month as a premium member will be on the platform a lot more than someone maybe that doesn't have like profile pictures or something like that. And I'll show you guys a couple of those profiles as well. This little section on your profile as well is something very important. A lot of people don't activate this. This basically shows people what you do, right? So the services that you provide as a professional. This is a very important feature. A lot of people don't start that up or hook it up. Take a look on your profile. Is this active? If it is not active, then make sure that you're filling that in. There's a couple little prompts that take you right through it. It takes about 2 minutes to hook up. Here is your summary page. So again, as we said, your profile title and your summary are very important. We don't need to go overboard on this, but people should be able to read this and understand who you are, what you do, how you make an impact in your business community, and things like that, okay? It's also highly suggested that you add some links in there. So the link for our business, and then I have a personal link here, something I'm very proud of, completing the big swim a few years ago. It shows that I have resilience, things like that, right? So if there's photos or images or links that you want to share within your summary, this is where you would do it. Again, your dashboard. So this shows me how many people have viewed my profile, post views, so views on my posts. And I popped up in 63 searches just this week, which is really cool. And again, that's using keywords from my profile, okay? Here's my activity. So it gives me all my activity. And then we go right into our experience. So there's one thing I just really want to point out to you guys is as we move through my profile, you will notice that everything is filled in. We have pictures for all the businesses I worked for, all the past businesses I've worked for, my experience. Everything is filled in. Everything is filled in. Education, licenses, certificates, volunteer experience, all the way down to my skills and endorsements and recommendations that I get from other people, accomplishments, and interests. So that's what I would basically say is a full profile. I also have a couple other examples I can show you here. So I use Shay as an example because she is someone that is absolutely crushing it on LinkedIn right now. She generates, I'd say, 90% of her income from being a market teacher on LinkedIn. So again, a good banner, you know, a more professional banner you can get, the better. A nice picture. And again, I turn executives into video creators that generate revenue on LinkedIn. So we know right away when showing up on Shay's page what she does. Here's the services that she provides. So again, guys, like this is a deep dive. It shows our mutual groups that we hang out with, our mutual connections, which also comes into play if you're looking for recommendations for people that you would like to connect with. Very important. Again, right into her about her. It's a great way to put on links again. All her social identities where you can meet with her, all that kind of stuff. As you'll notice, she has 200,000 followers right now. And this is where you can search some stuff. So if I wanted to connect with Shay, this is where I could go and see all activity. And then I can break it down by all her activity or articles that she's written, posts that she's done, or any documents that she's uploaded, right? So this becomes a very active tool, again, when we're actively prospecting. If we really want to connect with Shay, then I would go onto her activity, go into her posts. The easiest place to start, guys, is articles. So if they've written an article, so how I accidentally made more money being unprofessional self. So this is an article that has 3,187 likes and 629 comments. If I wanted to connect with Shay directly, what I would do is go on to her comments here on this article. Usually I would read the article if it's something that's of interest to me. I would read the article and then I would just leave a comment on the article right along the bottom here. You know, great article, Shay. And don't forget to use the @ symbol, and then basically their profile will pop up. So anytime you do that, this is an active prospecting tool. Anytime you put that @ symbol and then you select the profile, now Shay will be basically notified that someone has left a comment on her page and used her tag, right? So that's a very important thing that a lot of people forget. So as you'll notice down here, she writes, "Thank you, Anthony, for the featured video." So she's tagging Anthony now on that post. So this gets a little complicated, but basically what you want to do to keep it really simple is just be commenting and then make sure that you're using that @ symbol to put whoever wrote the article or, you know, posted the video in the actual comments. That's a very important thing to do. Okay, so then we can take a look at things like your network. So here we go. These are new people in my feed that want to connect, right? So there's a couple people in here that I don't know. And as you'll notice, not a lot of these people have left me a message, right? Only one person, Glenn, you know, the retail sales manager from Bell Radio there. So that shows the difference between active prospecting and people that are just currently prospecting, right? So hi, Curtis. Thanks again for the great session with our team this past week. Informative and timely. So I would like to connect with Glenn, but I'm going to show you a little trick what we can do with that after. Okay, so as far as other successful profiles, another one to take a look at would be Mitch Gonzalez. So he's out of Toronto. He does a lot of work with insurance companies on building their pipelines. So again, we help service-based and online businesses scale to 7 figures using our LinkedIn Executive Advantage system. So they have an actual system that they use to help insurance agents scale their businesses. About Mitch right here, again, all filled in. Very professional looking profile, close to 8,300 followers there. As you'll notice, again, everything is filled in, and it's quite a professional looking profile. Okay, so what I will do is I'm going to show you guys something now on basically the difference between the desktop version of LinkedIn versus the mobile version. So what I'll do is I'll go on here. Just bear with me really quickly. All right, so you see my phone there, which is great. All right, so now this is the mobile version of LinkedIn. So what I will show you right away is, remember how Glenn wrote me that message? I really like that message I got from Glenn. So I'm going to go on to my notifications at the bottom there, where you see the little number 1. I'm going to push on that. And then it'll show me all the people that have viewed my profile. So remember when I was saying that premium members get all the data and the metrics on people that have viewed their profiles, and I'll show you that a little later, how much information you can get. But this, for instance, shows me that these are the people that have viewed my profile, okay? We've got Kelly Nemo there, we've got Caitlin Hamblin, and we've seen that my 620 views in the last 90 days. And basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my network. Sorry. And I'm going to look for Glenn. And there's my message from Glenn. So what I'd love to do is I'm going to add Glenn to my network. Now I've got Glenn in my network. Now if I was actively prospecting with someone like Glenn, who's a sales manager, and I've got basically an invitation that came from Glenn, now I can go on to this by clicking message. And here's a big difference. So on the desktop platform, you don't get that little microphone. So where it says write message, you've got the little plus there that you can click on that will give us our options to attach files, use photos, and things like that, versus the other side where there's an actual microphone. So if you're out there and you're actively trying to prospect with people right now, the number one thing that you can do on LinkedIn, and I can't stress it enough, guys, it works. It's been statistically proven that it works. You're going to get basically a 90% click-through rate is if you use a voice message. So rather than saying, thanks, Glenn, for the contact, hope to see you on the next session, I'm going to leave him a voice message. So I click on that and I hold it. Hi, Glenn. I wanted to take a moment out of my morning to thank you for connecting with me here on LinkedIn. I'm really glad you had a great session. I'm glad that the team enjoyed the session. If there's anything else we can do at Sandler to support you and your group, please let us know. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. That's it. And then I click send. Now Glenn's going to get that. That's going to go right into Glenn's inbox. And there's a 90% chance that that's going to get opened. Okay, so I hope the group can see that, how powerful that really is. Okay, so we'll just do one more here. I think that could be fun. We'll add Caitlin. And we'll go on here. And I'm going to write Caitlin a little voice message. Hi, Caitlin. Thank you for connecting with me here on LinkedIn. I hope that you have a fantastic Monday. And if we can help support you in any way here at Sandler, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. I let it go. Send. Done. Right? So those are 2 contacts now that I've actively prospected with and left messages with. Okay? So that's something that's very powerful to use inside the desktop version. Another couple things that I'll show you here. So up the left, top left, you click on your profile. Now I've got my recent groups and hash marks that I follow. Okay? Groups that I follow. Followed hashtags. So that is something that you're going to want to look into as you actively prospect with your potential clients. It's also good to look at if they're posting videos, what hashtags are they using? You can go and visit those hashtags, right? Let's just see if there's some questions here. Very good. Good job. How would you handle a bilingual audience? That's a great question, Martin. And I'm not bilingual. So I guess the best way to do that is if you speak another language. I know that there's one girl that I follow. Her name is Palpina. Here, I can show you this really quick. Right here. So she is from the Netherlands. And basically what she does, Martin, is she posts both in English and in, I think her native tongue is from the Netherlands. So if I go to her activity and check out her posts, I think down here, yeah, see right there. She's got one that's basically in, I guess, Dutch, it would be. And she posts both in English and in Dutch. So that's what she does. And she's a video marketer as well. So she would be a good person to follow, okay? But as I get back to this, you know, followed hashtags, discover more button allows me to go in and really find out where people on my profile are going, what are they checking out, top hashtags, things that are really important to your market. If you're in the beer market, there you go. Teamwork, kindness, all these kind of things pop up. Now, if we go to notifications, again, this is my feed. So if you're on Facebook right now, this would be the equivalent of your feed. So this basically shows you any hashtags that you follow, people that you follow, things that are being posted right now, things that are trending. One thing that's really cool is you'll notice right here at the top, it says, respond to Sandler Training Maritimes on this trending post in leadership. So because I follow the leadership hashtag and I follow it through our Sandler page, it now posts things for me to go and comment on, right? So I can click on that. And now this is actively prospecting. I can go on here and all the people that are leaving comments really liked whatever was written here in leadership. And if they're interested in leadership, hey, they might be interested in something that Sandler has to offer. Maybe I want to take a closer look at some of these people, like Kate, for instance. Now, if I was going to actively prospect on Kate, I would do a deep dive on her profile. And that's basically how this works, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing there, and we'll go back to our presentation. Perfect. So I hope that you guys got something from that. You know, that's a lot, but I mean, if anything, guys, it's going to show you the differences in the main differences really between the desktop version and the mobile version of LinkedIn. Both are very, very powerful. So again, profiles for personal branding. This is a fellow named Dave McDonald. This was what his profile looked like. That's it, right? So striving for performance improvement through strategic talent management. That's what his profile looks like. He's got pictures of some planes, no real header that's outlining his company. Kind of, I don't really know if he's active. Doesn't look like he's too active on LinkedIn. But then we go to pages like this, right? So Shay, I already showed you. Another great person to follow her name is Jackie Hermes. And she is absolutely, again, super active right now on LinkedIn. She does a lot of great posts pertaining to business and business marketing and business management. I should actually show you that right now. I'm going to show you Jackie's profile right now. Right there. So she's out of Wisconsin. She does a lot of work in the Wisconsin area for entrepreneurs, and she does a lot of great speeches and TED Talks and stuff like that. But Jackie runs a SaaS marketing company, so software as a service, and she is amazing at posting videos and video content. So as you'll notice, she has 50,000 followers. These are the types of influencers within this platform, guys, that I would really highly suggest you get on and start to follow, because they are posting every single day, multiple times a day. You'll get a lot of information from Jackie. So if I can just go on to her activity really quickly and show you guys. Again, articles that she's written, posts that she's done. I mean, I believe that probably 90% of what Jackie posts is video content, and she's usually at her place of business, as you can notice right here. And obviously with COVID, she's at home now, but again, she's a fantastic person to follow for the LinkedIn platform. So I would highly suggest that. And we'll pop back in here. So as you'll notice, guys, the difference in those profiles versus Dave's, it just looks more professional. And again, I would really highly just suggest, if you're really looking to I guess, position yourself as a professional within your market right now, to be the professional at whatever you're doing, you really have to start with your LinkedIn page, because it really is that little website that is 100% all about you and what you do and what service you offer, what pain that you're going to be helping your prospects with. Those are the things that you really need to do a deep dive in before you really start to prospect within the LinkedIn platform. So really your foundation is going to be your profile. So your profile title, your summary, right? Those are your picture. Those are the important things. Rooms, okay? So the rooms of the house, let's think of a house here right now. So the foundation of your house is your profile. The rooms, or the main structure of your house, is your targeted community. And the roof of your home is going to be your content strategy, right? So that is something I know that we're trying to really ramp up at Sandler right now, is our content strategy and our strategy about what we're doing. We're defining those activities. What do we want to do on the LinkedIn platform? How do we want to help our targeted audience? Those are the things that we're really working through, right? So the big thing here is your targeted community. And what I'd love to do is do a quick poll with you guys. And let's create our profiles right now really quickly as a group. Get everybody to answer that profile poll. Really interesting numbers coming through. Okay. I almost wished when I was at school they had that there is room for improvement sort of grade. But if we look at this, guys, this is incredible stuff. So, I mean, none of us are really grading ourselves at an A. We've got 2%, or sorry, 7%. But a lot of us fall into that. You know, I think that we could be doing some upgrades or definitely some improvements to our LinkedIn pages. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll end that poll. And we'll move into something that I think is very, very important. So LinkedIn searches. So if you're going to actively prospect, you really, really need to know how to search. Okay, so the search, I guess, methods within LinkedIn are very robust. There's a lot of filters. I mean, I'm going to get into a little bit of the LinkedIn Navigator, which is an upgrade that you pay for each month, but that can take it to a whole other level. But let's just start with the advanced search within the platform right now. Okay, so if we're going to connect with prospects that we're looking for, we really need to own in on our searching skills. So I'm going to show you guys this live. Why not, while we're here? So what we do first is we go up to, and if you're on your platform right now, you can follow along with me. If you're on your phone, you can also follow along with me. What we're going to do is go into the search bar up at the top, and we're going to go to people. And this is where people sort of cruise past what they need to take a look at, really. So, you know, people will, that little banner right at the top where it says people, connections, locations, all filters, people don't see it very often. There have been a lot of people on LinkedIn saying it should be a different color because they just cruise right by it. But this is where you're going to get all your time will be spent effectively. So 60% of those needle moving activities could very well come within this search filters. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on all filters. And now we've got all of our filters now about the people that we're trying to look for. So what I would suggest is that you click first and second. So what that is your connections. So you've got first connections, second connections, and third connections within LinkedIn. So think of like your first connections as people you work with that you see a lot. And then your second connections would be friends of those people. That's the easiest way to sort of summarize that. But I would highly suggest that, because if there's an opportunity where you know somebody who knows somebody, you can ask them to introduce you via LinkedIn. And there's ways that we can do that as well. If there's specific connections of people that you already know. So if my president, Eric Fry, if I know that he has a robust network of people I want to network with, I can put Eric in there and I can just specifically filter this down to people that Eric knows. Okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it open, Canada, the United States. I'm not looking for any current companies, no past companies I'm looking for. We can be specific to industries here. So I can say, I don't know, computer software, marketing. I can also put in wellness and health as another industry I'm interested in narrowing down my niche of people I want to find. I want people that speak English. Not really too concerned about the schools they go to, but I know that the title I want them to have is, let's just put sales manager. Okay, I want them to be a sales manager within the United States that speaks English, that's in these 3 industries, and they're my first or second contacts. I can click apply, and there we go. Now I've got a list, 4,000 results. Now this is where it gets really, interesting when you start to really niche down. And this is what I would highly recommend you guys get in there today or this week sometime and start to fool around with the filters and filter down on people. Because the more you can get filtered down and the more specific you can get on people you want to network with or connect with, that's really going to help your ability to connect with them, right? So say there's some people in here like Tim. Tim is a sales manager. I can connect with Tim. Right? It makes it so easy to get in there and connect. So again, the filters is something that I would highly recommend that you guys get dialed in with. Okay? Let me just throw it out there to the group really quick. How many people right now with some yeses are using this advanced search, system within LinkedIn? Give me some yeses in the chat if you're using this currently. Nicole said no, so we've got no's. Let's get some no's if you're not using this. Never seen it before. Nope, nope, nope. Victoria's using, Victor, yep, Victor's using it. Okay, Matt, awesome. Ben's using it. Very cool. So it seems like the majority of people, Kyle's using Sales Navigator, which is awesome occasionally. That's fantastic. So it sounds like some people are using it, but to what extent, I'm not sure. And it sounds like some people are going to probably start to use it. So I'm glad that we could help some people out with that today. One thing I will suggest is, as we saw there, Kyle, I think, was one of the fellows there that's using Sales Navigator. You can use it for, I think it's like a 30-month free trial right now, but it is about 64 to, I think it's 75 bucks Canadian a month. But what Sales Navigator allows you to do, guys, is save searches or save lists. So sales managers in Canada, I can save that list within Sales Navigator. And what Sales Navigator will do is anyone that has that title within those filters, they will automatically send to your inbox to connect with. Okay? And then connections you make within Sales Navigator, they will keep all of the content that those people post, and they will bring it to your Sales Navigator, so it makes it very easy for you to comment and like and post things within your network of people you're trying to prospect with. So if you can afford the Sales Navigator, I can say that I've used it for myself before. It is very, very, very good for prospecting. It works very well. Again, the cost is a little up there, but if you can afford it, I would highly suggest that you give it a try. And this is just what I was speaking to before. So save searches. So this example within Sales Navigator, John Russo, who's another Sandler fellow, these are all the searches that he was using. So, again, VP of Sales, VP Assets Management, these are all people that he was basically actively searching for, actively looking to connect with, and Sales Navigator has saved all of his searches, which is quite incredible. And again, we could have a whole other webinar just on Sales Navigator if that would be helpful for you guys. We will do everything that we can to support you guys. So the LinkedIn referral ask. So within LinkedIn, you're able to ask for referrals, meaning people that are connected with other people, as I mentioned before. So these are some lead-in lines that you could use directly from the digital prospecting book that Sandler has. Again, guys, it's just common sense here. And if we go back to those words that we talked about at the beginning of the webinar, you know, empathy, sympathy, the word nurture or trust, integrity, it really isn't a time in the market to be, you know, going full blast at people. And actually, I have an example really quickly, I think that I would like to show you on that. I believe it's in here somewhere. Let me just find it. Right here. So Katie, now this is a Sales Navigator message. So this is something that will get on the nerves of a lot of people that use LinkedIn like myself on a daily basis, are automated messages. So it is not 100% not something that we suggest that you do. This is basically a automated message from Katie, who probably set it up within Sales Navigator to blast to anyone with a certain job title. And this is what came through, right? A real fabricated message. I know that she hasn't checked out my profile. I know that she hasn't taken any time to dig in about what I do, how I help people, or how she can help me. So a lot of times what I'll do, and I kept this specifically for an example for today's webinar, but this would usually get deleted almost instantly, right? So these spam messages, I highly recommend that you stay away from those, okay? Don't want to be doing that because you will lose your network very fast if you're doing that. So we got, let me see here, we got 10 more minutes. I think what I'd love to cruise through is emails, not true. Let's look at this. Testimonials. This is a great time, guys, to really dive in and, you know, again, testimonials and getting recommendations from people, I think is a great idea right now. If you've had any business that has done really well, or if you've helped people in the past, this is the time to tap into those people and ask if they would be willing to write you a recommendation. It can be done very quickly through LinkedIn as well. I can show you that really quickly. And then we're going to get into some questions I'm sure that you guys might have. So if we go down here to, can scroll all the way down here. Whoops, my apologies. Right here, so ask for recommendation. You really click on that, and then you can just type in who you want the recommendation from, and you just select them, your position with them, and then so on. Then you click next, and that'll show right up in their inbox. So it's that easy to get recommendations within LinkedIn. Again, I think it's something that we should all look at. It's a tool. I won't get into the, I guess, the alerts that you can get for viral content. Anything viral within LinkedIn is very easy to pick up. I can show you that really quickly on your home screen. Go right here to the top. Right here, today's news and videos, or sorry, views. These are the top trending stories on LinkedIn. So if you wanted to use those as a post and share them, you could absolutely do that. So as we see, this coronavirus official updates has, I mean, you know, tens of thousands of people viewing it. If you wanted to share that or get into a conversation with people that are commenting or liking or talking about that, if that's something you want to get into, that's how you do it. It's very easy to hop in and share viral content via that way. These are the top ways to post content. So short form text posts are very trendy right now. They're impactful. Photos, obviously, they don't do as well on LinkedIn as they do on platforms like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. Documents, long form published articles do really well, as I mentioned before. For a professional network, the articles do really well. Native and live video, videos do extremely well on LinkedIn. The thing with video content is you really want to look at your consistency. Again, people like Jackie that we mentioned are posting almost daily with their videos. So these are the 5 types of content really that you would want to look at. Again, short form posts, photos, documents, articles, and video. Those would be the ones that you really want to dial in on. And if I was to choose two right now, it would probably be articles or video, what I would focus in on. What else? So here would be like a LinkedIn networking recipe, guys. So 30 to 45 minutes a day. Go on there, send some LinkedIn invitations, go and network with some people in your, I guess, in your industry, and find out who they're connected with. Quickly scanning your updates, sending LinkedIn invitations to anyone of interest who engages you. Again, guys, this is all about engagement, the engagement and your ability to nurture and prospect, right? So don't just be clicking connect. That's not what we're here to do. Again, you can take the morning to scan Google for your alerts. I mean, I didn't really get into alerts, but you can set up alerts within Google to pull out viral content so that you can post it on LinkedIn. It's not very hard. Just go to Google and type in alerts and it'll help you out. And again, just making sure that this is all part of your daily routine, I think, is what we really would love to stress at Sandler here, guys, is, it's all a part of routines now. I don't know what your prospecting looked like before, but it really should be in part of your day, okay? So we'll put a quick poll up here, and then we'll get into some questions. So let's launch that poll. And if anyone's we got about 5 minutes at the end here for some questions, but let's see what people are going to implement after today's session. Very good. A lot of updating of profiles. Start making social media prospecting part of the schedule. Awesome. Very good. Sounds like everyone's got a handle on their ideal avatar, which is fantastic. So now you just need to implement and put that into your search filters within LinkedIn. Update my LinkedIn profile and start making social prospecting a part of my schedule. I think that's a given, right, guys, with the times we have today. And let's open it up really quickly here, guys. So, oh, awesome, Chris. So definitely the advanced search. I'm glad that helped out. Is there any other questions that you guys have right now? We got about 5 minutes left on the webinar here. If there's any specific questions that you guys have regarding what we went through today, you can post those up. I'll do my best to answer any of the questions that we have. Is it possible to get a copy of your presentation? Good usable tools here. That's a great question, Terry. What I can do is we do get a recorded version of this webinar. So if that's something that interests you, you can definitely send me a message and I'll make sure that you get it. Would you send a voice recording for every connection you send, or only for the ones that accept? Usually the ones that accept, Ben, right? So when they accept, then you're able to send that voice recording, but it is super impactful if you can add that into your repertoire. Absolutely, great question. Thank you for asking. You're very welcome, Tracy. I'm happy to help any way we can here at Sandler. One thing I will show you guys before you log off, you got about 4 minutes here. I'm going to share one more thing with you. And this is actually a new tool that Sandler has right now, and it's open to the public. And I would really love for you guys to hop on and take a look at it, because I think it can help a lot of you guys out. So on my phone here, you'll notice the Sandler app. So you can go on your iOS or your Android device, and you can just download the Sandler app, Sandler Training, My Sandler, I think it's called, My Sandler Training. And we have all of our courses. We have all of our programs, right? We have our enterprise selling, our sales mastery, sales foundations. All of the content that Sandler Training currently has right now is being offered on this app in audio form. So you can go on to these little snippets. They're about 4 or 5 minutes long. You can read them, or you can use them as a quick reference. So, we're really trying to do our part to help you guys out here. But if there's no more other questions, guys, that's it for today. Again, my name is Curtis, and I really hope that this was an impactful session for you. Again, join us Wednesday and Friday. We have sessions running next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. And we're here to help you guys as much as we can in the business community. So if there's no other questions, no other comments, please, we would be happy to help you out any way we can. So signing off here from Home Office Sandler. I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day. And again, if there's anything that we can do to help support you, please don't hesitate to reach out to Sandler Maritimes. We're all in it together, guys. Okay? So again, thank you for everything. Great session. Thank you very much, Ben. I'm glad that we could help out. And we'll see you guys Wednesday, 9 to 10 a.m. Another great session. You stay healthy as well, Chris. Everybody stay healthy. Okay. See you later, guys.